There are moments in golf when a leaderboard tells you everything. And then there are moments when it tells you absolutely nothing. Because if you looked at Justin Rose not that long ago, you could have been forgiven for thinking the story was over. A veteran, a brilliant career, gotten younger, louder, stronger. And at 45, with another painful chapter already behind him, Rose felt like one of those players people still admired, but no longer feared. Then came a week that started like a slow goodbye. A few bad swings. A few ugly numbers. The kind of round that makes the cameras drift somewhere else. The kind of major week where the golf world quietly moves on without you. And yet, buried inside that silence, something was building. Not hype. Not luck. Something harder than that. Because what happened next wasn't just a good round. It wasn't just a nice little veteran cameo. It was a reminder of what this game can do when a player everyone has stopped watching suddenly gives them no choice but to look again. And by the end of it, Justin Rose didn't just survive the PGA Championship. Older players are fighting narrative. Every miscut becomes proof. Every stumble becomes the end. Every experiment gets judged like desperation. Rose even came into the week with questions around an equipment change, with some observers wondering if switching irons so late in his career was a risk. But Rose pushed back hard. Now think about that for a second. That's not a man guessing. That's not a man hanging on. That's a competitor still searching, still trying to get better, still refusing to let comfort write the ending. But then Friday happened, and this is where everything changed. Because Friday wasn't clean. It wasn't elegant. It wasn't the kind of round you frame on a wall. It was messy, stressful, exhausting golf. He was right there on the edge, where one more mistake and your tournament is gone. By the time he got to his final hole, Justin Rose looked like a man who had fought all day just to stay alive. He was in thick rough, about 25 yards from the pin, flirting with an early exit in his 24th PGA Championship appearance. Then he holed out for eagle. Just like that. One way, the cut line around 4 over. PGA Tour/AP. That shot is the kind of thing golf does once in a while, just to remind you that it still has a pulse. Because 1 second, you're packing mentally for home. The next, you're back in the fight. And if you played this game, even badly, even casually, you know exactly why that moment hit so hard. Golf can bury you all over again. But wait till you hear what happened next. Most players, after surviving like that, are just grateful to still be there. They spend Saturday trying to stabilize. Maybe sneak in a respectable round. Maybe salvage some pride. Justin Rose did something very different. He attacked. He came out Saturday like a man who had been given his tournament back and had no intention of wasting it. Birdie on 3. Birdie on 4. Birdie on 5. Birdie on 6. Another on 9. Front 9 and 30. By the time people fully realized what they were watching, Rose had fired 65 and shoved himself right back into the conversation. Reuters. Think about the emotional swing there. A day earlier, he's scraping for the cut. Now he's charging through a major championship, like the old version of himself never left. That's the beauty of this story. It wasn't some miracle built on chaos, on belief returning fast enough to change the feel of an entire tournament. Rose even said making the cut gave him a bit of freedom and a bit of gratitude just to be here. He joked with his caddy that they were under par for the tournament after being 5 over just 7 holes earlier. That quote tells you everything. Freedom. That's such a powerful word in golf, because when a player is tight, the game looks narrow, defensive, careful, heavy. But when that tension breaks, even for a round, the player starts seeing lines again, starts trusting numbers, starts releasing the club instead of steering it. Because Justin Rose represents something a lot of golf fans deeply connect with. He is not the loudest star. He is not the flashiest personality. He has never needed chaos around him to matter. His career has always felt built on class, discipline, honesty, and resilience. So when a player like that nearly gets written off, personal to people who love the soul of the sport, it says something important. It says experience still matters. It says patience still matters. It says there is still room in elite golf for craftsmanship, for stubbornness, for a player who knows exactly who he is. But here's the part that makes it emotional. Rose wasn't just playing against the field. He was playing against time, against doubt, against the voice every aging athlete hears sooner or later. Maybe that was your last reel. What champions do. He kept showing up with curiosity. He kept changing, kept adjusting, kept believing there was still something left to find. That's inspiring. A game where survival can turn into momentum, and momentum can suddenly turn into magic. And if you're a golf fan, that's why this lands. Because you know how small the margins are. You know what one lip out can do to a round. You know what one up and down can do to a career narrative. You know what it means to look finished, and PGA Championship hit such a nerve. He reminded everyone that golf doesn't always reward the player who looks hottest on paper. Sometimes it rewards the one who stays emotionally available long enough for the tournament to change. One shot kept him alive. One round changed the mood. One weekend reminded the golf world who the message lingers. Rose has won at Aronimink before, lost a playoff there before, and won a U.S. Open nearby at Mary for the last 10 years. Yahoo Sports/AFP. That is such a golf line. Not clinging to the past. Not pretending time stands still. Adapting. Learning. Competing anyway. So no, this wasn't just a veteran having a nice day. This was Justin Rose, left for dead, refusing to act like the story was over. This was a major championship, reminding all of us that belief can come back in a single hole. This was the kind of performance that makes golf fans sit back and smile, because it speaks to everything we love about the game. The cruelty, the beauty, the second chances, the dignity of fighting on when it would be easier to disappear. And that is why stories like this matter. Because long after the leaderboard updates fade, what stays with us is the feeling. The feeling of seeing someone tested, doubted, nearly dismissed, and then watching them rise with nothing but nerve, skill, and heart. Justin Rose didn't just surprise people. He reminded them. He reminded them that class never goes out of style. He reminded them that grit till the last putt drops. So what do you think? Was this one of the most meaningful late-career major surges we've seen in recent years that actually make you feel something? Stay with this channel. Because this game always has another moment waiting.